And welcome everyone to the Riverside County Board Brief as we give you a brief look at what took place during today's Riverside County Board of Supervisors meeting. My name is Pep Fernandez, and joining us here at the top of the program, John Hildebrand, the Planning Director for the county. And John was back in front of the board talking about short-term rentals again and the potential to extend the moratorium on new short-term rentals. John, you went before the board. They had a vote. What happened today during the meeting?
Yes, thank you. The Board of Supervisors today took action to extend the short-term rental moratorium for either 1 full year or at such time the new short-term rental ordinance becomes effective. So we're hoping to get that thing moving quickly. It did go to the Planning Commission last Wednesday on August 23rd, and now staff is preparing the short-term rental to take it forward to the Board of Supervisors.
Okay, we've had you on the show several times to talk about short-term rental. So from here, what is the next step?
Sure. So we're wrapping up the changes that came out of Planning Commission and some of the comments that we received. Put that back into the ordinance and notify it and then take it forward to the Board of Supervisors for consideration and a public hearing item again.
All right, if there's folks out there in the public, they want more information on short-term rentals and maybe this process, how does this all work? Where can they get that?
Sure. I would recommend two places. One is if you go to planning.rctlma.org, which is the planning department website here for the county. We do publish a newsletter on a regular basis. So if you're interested in more information about short-term rentals, hearings, and other public hearings that come up, please give us your email address and push that out through the newsletters. Secondarily, we do have an online account system now for our short-term rentals through Deckard and GovOS, and we're asking the public who have short-term rental accounts to log into that account, give us your email address so we can push things out, again, through email and updates with what's going on with our short-term rentals.
All right, very good. That's John Hildebrand, the Planning Director here for the County of Riverside. Thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. All right, we also had a chance to talk to Erin Geddes. She is the Director of Animal Services, talking about the innovative ways that they are finding ways to still provide the services for folks across Riverside County, specifically those that are out in the Coachella Valley that were hit hardest by Tropical Storm Hillary. Here is Erin Geddes talking about what they are doing with some pop-ups and some online resources. And now join us here on the board brief. She is the Director of Animal Services, Erin Geddes. And Erin, there's a couple things we want to talk about. First off, today on the agenda, there was something called Petco grants. Is that correct?
Right. So Petco Love is the foundation arm of Petco.
Okay.
And they gave us a grant for $65,000 to help us increase our spay and neuter surgeries for the community cat program. So the community cat program is stray cats that live in the community. They're part of the community, you know, just like your neighborhood raccoon or your neighborhood squirrel. And we're trying to help them get fixed so that we can reduce that population and reduce the impact on the community.
All right, very good, Erin. Also, you know, we're still, a lot of us, feeling the effects of Tropical Storm Hillary that came through Riverside County, especially our friends out in the desert who are trying to access a lot of those essential animal services out there. What are you guys doing out there in the Coachella Valley, out in the desert, to make sure that our residents, our friends and neighbors still have access to those services and in innovative ways, right, to make this happen?
We are trying to innovate. You know, COVID taught us to do so, and we're continuing to do so. So we have been working with local groups to have pop-up events off campus. The first one we did was this past Saturday. We had a pop-up adoption event sponsored by a local Coachella resident named Lindy Biggie. And she let us use her building, and we were able to get a number of adoptions done. The staff worked together to establish vaccines and everything that's needed for those animals. And we're doing another event this Thursday where we're hosting our clinic for vaccines, which we normally do every Thursday, and we're going to host it at the same location.
Very good. So finding ways to go out into the community, right? So people can
right.
get it, or maybe even online or social media. Those are all great avenues to get that information out, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's been challenging because even though the storm is long past, we still have impacts. The road to the shelter is still flooded and it's still closed, so the public can't actually get to the shelter. The animals are being taken very well care of. Staff are taking 4x4 trucks to get there every single day and make sure they're getting the absolute best care. But the public can't get there to adopt. And so we're trying to figure out how either to get more information to the public so they can adopt virtually, which is ongoing, or to get off-site where they can meet the animals in person, fall in love, and go home with their new best friend.
Whatever it takes to find those forever homes, isn't that right?
That's right. That's right. Yes, absolutely.
All right, that's Erin Geddes, the Director of Animal Services here on the Board Brief. All right, thank you, Aaron. Now we transition to Carolina Herrera. And Carolina, normally you're here, for, under the hat of legislative affairs, but here today we're talking about the employee campaign, Inland SoCal United Way, and the employee campaign, a way to give back in the community. But what exactly is this?
Well, what a beautiful segue. So one of the things that our employees can do is actually sign up for paycheck, contributions. Every check, they can give a little bit of money to a nonprofit of their choice. If they wanted to, they could actually support animal services via their nonprofit or any nonprofit of their choice. The deadline to sign up is December 8th. So I am challenging all of our county employees, PEP, you included, to donate at least $1 per paycheck. That's $26 a year. I know it doesn't sound like much, but that's something that our nonprofit community can then use to leverage, because it's not just about the dollars, it's about the donors. They can talk about the impact that those donations are having within the community and the fact that us as county employees, we're committed to the cause. So I challenge everyone to give. I also challenge everyone to talk to their department heads about the fundraising that they do throughout the year. A lot of our departments are doing, raffles and other things to raise money for causes that they care about. So it's time for all of us to get engaged and involved.
So you mentioned animal services. Does this have to be another county department? Can it be a nonprofit in our community? What's available?
Everything. So when you sign up for the paycheck deduction, we have QR codes available on our website. You can actually opt for any 501c3 or nonprofit. It could be your kid's school, maybe if they have a fundraising arm that you'd like to contribute to. And what I love about it is that I don't have to think about it, right? I can just set it up. It automatically comes out of my paycheck. It's tracked every month, and then it happens at the end of the year. I have all my receipts in one place. I'm actually going to put all my giving into the employee giving campaign, and it shows that our community is committed.
All right, finally, a message to the employees here, right? So what would you say? You already mentioned it could be a competition if you're competitive like that between county departments. What would your message be to all the county employees out there?
So it would be, check with your departments. We have a competition for large, middle, and small size departments to do two things: to have the most contributions for the year and to have the most participation. So just remember, I'm going to come after the department heads, and we might have to call them to the board brief to call out who's got the biggest competition going. So we have till December 8th, and we're looking forward to getting our participation back up to pre-pandemic levels.
All right, very good. Carolina Herrera, thank you very much. The chair, I should say, of the employee campaign here for the county of Riverside. Thank you, Carolina.
Thanks, Pat.
Appreciate it. All right, always appreciate having her here on the board brief. Now, during today's Board of Supervisors meeting, they were talking about catalytic converters and the theft of these catalytic converters, which is a real problem not only here in Riverside County, but in all parts. And today was a proposed ordinance really spearheaded and fueled by the community. Daryl Terrell, a member of our community, going before the board to talk more about this and really hold those accountable who are stealing catalytic converters. Here is Daryl Terrell, a member of our community, and several of our supervisors chiming in, basically saying thank you to Daryl and encouraging others in the community to step up and be an agent for change.
Before you today, you have a proposed ordinance that was proposed by my supervisor, Gutierrez, and Chairman Kevin Jeffries, that will hold these individuals, these crooks, accountable for stealing catalytic converters in the incorporated area.
The catalytic converter thefts is a very big thing in our districts, and I think in the whole county too, that's kind of going on. So I appreciate their leadership for doing so.
I do want to recognize that Daryl was the big push behind that to help us take a look at that, look at what other counties and cities were doing.
Also want to give kudos to Daryl. You come faithfully, you come educated, you come with suggestions, not just criticism.
All right, and finally here on the board brief, we had a very special presentation at the beginning of the Riverside County Board of Supervisors meeting. Let's go to that video, as it was Chief Bill Weiser in attendance, flanked by many of his staff there with Riverside County Fire, as they had a moment of silence and also paid special recognition to the two firefighters and the pilot that were killed while combating the Broadway fire in Cabazon earlier this month on August 6th. It was Assistant Chief Josh Bischoff, Captain Tim Rodriguez, and Pilot Tony Souza. Again, there was the moment of silence during the meeting. This was towards the beginning of the meeting, and Chief Bill Weiser had an opportunity to speak to the board as well as the public about what these three men, who are heroes, what they were able to accomplish in their field, but also what they did for the community and the sacrifice that they made.
We had a horrific accident in which a firefighting helicopter crashed, losing all souls on board, which were 3. Assistant Chief Josh Bischoff, Fire Captain Tim Rodriguez, and the pilot Tony Sosa. Our department stands before you resolute to continue our services as always. Over the past week, we have had our memorial services and celebrations of life for all 3. They were fitting and they were honorable. These men that died were good family men with children, lives of many years, and we all continue to mourn their loss. And their loss will be felt and impacted within our department for decades.
Impactful words by Chief Bill Weiser. My name is Pep Fernandez. We'll see you next time on the Riverside County Board Brief.